Imagine the African savanna. Heat presses down on the land, the air shimmers, and every living creature tries to stay away from trouble. Everyone except one animal. It's hard to call him the biggest, or the fastest, or even the most beautiful. But if there is a creature in this world that simply doesn't care about fear, it's the honey badger. The honey badger is not actually a badger, even though it looks similar. Its official name is Mellivora capensis, and it is the only member of its genus. It steps out of the bushes slowly, not because it's careful, it just never rushes. There's no need when you're not afraid of anything at all. The honey badger lives in Africa, the Middle East, and even India. It has adapted to different climates, from deserts to forests. The savanna lives by rules. The weak hide, the strong hunt. But the honey badger plays by different laws. It doesn't avoid conflict. It creates it. Despite its name, the honey badger doesn't eat only honey. Its diet includes snakes, birds, rodents, insects, and even remains. It goes where other animals wouldn't even dare to look. For example, toward a snake. The honey badger regularly hunts venomous snakes, including cobras. The cobra raises its head, spreads its hood, hisses. Any other animal would step back, but not him. The honey badger has a partial resistance to snake venom. The snake strikes. Sometimes it hits. The honey badger collapses. Silence. It seems like it's over. But time passes, and he gets back up and continues eating the snake. Even after a bite from a highly venomous snake, the honey badger may lose consciousness, then wake up and continue the hunt. This is no longer just an animal. It's a mechanism that doesn't stop. It keeps moving forward. Nothing stops it. Even if someone tries to grab it, the honey badger's skin is so thick and loose that a predator cannot properly hold it. Imagine, a lion grabs it with its teeth. For ordinary prey, that's the end. But the honey badger twists inside its own skin and bites back. It can literally turn inside its own skin to attack whoever grabbed it. And this is the moment when even a predator starts to hesitate. Is it worth it? The honey badger can attack animals much larger than itself, including lions, and often comes out alive, not because it's stronger, but because it never backs down. The honey badger is listed in the Guinness World Records as the most fearless animal in the world. You might think the honey badger is just pure aggression. No, it also thinks. It doesn't just charge forward. It analyzes, tests, remembers. Sometimes it plans. Honey badgers have a high level of intelligence and can solve problems to get food or escape from traps. A closed enclosure. High walls. No weak points. And one honey badger. After some time, it's found outside. Honey badgers are known for escaping from zoos by using objects as tools. It doesn't break things, it uses them. A honey badger can move rocks, sticks, and even containers to use them as steps. Security is reinforced. Everything extra is removed. It adapts. A honey badger can remember successful escape methods and repeat them. This is not luck. This is learning. Sometimes it doesn't act alone. The honey badger interacts with a bird, the honey guide, to find beehives. The bird leads. The honey badger follows. The honey guide leads the honey badger to a hive, and after it is opened, feeds on what remains. One finds. The other opens. The honey badger barely reacts to bee stings thanks to its thick skin. The swarm attacks. It continues. Sometimes it uses more than strength. There are recorded cases where honey badgers pretended to stay still to avoid danger. The threat weakens. It acts. A honey badger can switch to attack even after a moment when the situation looks lost. It doesn't stop. Honey badgers are solitary and aggressive, even toward each other. This is not just survival. This is behavior shaped by control and experience. Now, imagine this animal facing not predators, but humans. Where other animals avoid settlements, it walks straight toward them. Not out of curiosity. Because of food, honey badgers regularly raid chicken coops and apiaries, causing serious damage to farms. Night, silence. By morning, broken enclosures and not a single bird left. It doesn't move carefully. It breaks in. A honey badger can break open wooden structures and even simple locks. Farmers reinforce their defenses. They build fences. It finds the weak spot. Honey badgers can dig under fences or climb over them. If there is a way, it will find it. If not, it will create one. Sometimes people try to stop it directly. That's a mistake. A honey badger can aggressively attack a human if it feels threatened. It doesn't warn, it acts immediately. And the problem isn't just strength. Honey badgers are extremely resistant to pain and continue attacking even when injured. This breaks the usual logic. Most animals retreat. It does not. That's why, in some regions, it is considered a serious threat. In rural areas of Africa, the honey badger is seen as a pest due to its destructive behavior. But getting rid of it is difficult. Honey badgers quickly adapt to new defense methods and find ways around them. Every attempt to stop it makes it smarter. Even hunters understand this. The honey badger is extremely difficult to catch due to its strength, endurance, and ability to escape. It doesn't just break free, it learns. That's exactly how its reputation was formed. In many regions, the honey badger is known as one of the most stubborn and dangerous small predators. Not the biggest, but one of the most troublesome. And all of this leads to the main point. The main reason for the honey badger's survival is the combination of fearlessness, intelligence, and adaptability. This is not random. It's a system. It's not the strongest, not the fastest, but one of the few that doesn't play by the rules. And that's exactly why it remains where others disappear. You already understand. Strength and aggression are only part of it. What comes next are the details that make up its real effectiveness. The honey badger's skin can reach up to 6 millimeters in thickness and is difficult to penetrate with teeth and claws. This isn't armor in the usual sense. It's flexible protection. Loose skin allows the honey badger to slip out of the grip of even large predators. It can be held, but not controlled. The honey badger has extremely powerful jaws and teeth capable of crushing bones and shells. It doesn't just bite. It breaks. The honey badger's claws are long and curved, perfect for digging and tearing. Soil, wood, nests, none of it is a barrier. A honey badger can dig a deep burrow in a short time to hide or to get food. If it needs to disappear, it disappears. Underground. But defense is not only physical. The honey badger has anal glands that release a very strong smell to scare off enemies. If strength doesn't work, chemistry does. This smell is so unpleasant that it can drive away even large predators. Sometimes a fight ends before it even begins. Honey badgers are active both during the day and at night. Their behavior depends on conditions and threats. They adjust to their environment. The honey badger has an excellent sense of smell, allowing it to find food underground. It detects what is hidden. The average lifespan of a honey badger in the wild is about 7 to 10 years, but in captivity it can be much longer. It lives long enough. Considering how it lives, that alone says a lot. But one question remains. If it is so effective, why doesn't it dominate everywhere? It survives almost everywhere. It eats almost anything. It fears almost nothing. But there are not as many honey badgers as you might expect. Honey badgers live solitary lives and do not form stable groups. No pack, no support, only itself. The territory of a single honey badger can cover dozens of square kilometers. It controls its space and does not tolerate neighbors. Female honey badgers usually give birth to 1/2 cubs at a time. This means slow population growth. The pregnancy period of a honey badger lasts about 6 months, with possible delayed development of the embryo. Nature does not rush. Cubs stay with their mother for up to a year or longer, learning how to survive. They need time, a lot of time. This is not an inborn skill. It is learned. Young honey badgers adopt behavioral strategies from their mother, including hunting and defense. This is the transfer of experience, not pure instinct. But even then, not all survive. Despite their reputation, young honey badgers are vulnerable to large predators. Without experience, there is no advantage. The main threats to honey badgers are humans, habitat destruction, and poisoned bait. Their main enemy is not a lion. In some regions, honey badgers are protected due to declining numbers. A paradox. A dangerous predator, yet a vulnerable species. The honey badger plays an important role in the ecosystem by controlling populations of small animals and insects. It destroys, but it also balances, and that is the essence. This is not just aggression, not just survival. It is a system where intelligence, adaptability, and character matter more than size and strength. The story doesn't end. What comes next are the details that rarely make it into the overall image. Scientific study of honey badgers is difficult due to their secretive and unpredictable behavior. It exists, but it is hard to observe. Honey badgers don't make many sounds, but they can hiss, growl, and produce sharp cries when threatened. Quiet, until it becomes dangerous. The honey badger has poor eyesight, but this is compensated by a strong sense of smell and hearing. It doesn't rely on sight. It senses. Honey badgers can travel long distances in a single night in search of food. Constant movement. They rarely use the same burrow twice, preferring to change shelters. No attachment to a place. Honey badgers can take prey from other predators using surprise and aggression. Not always the hunter, sometimes the one who takes over. There are recorded cases where honey badgers survived bites and attacks that would be fatal for most animals. It goes through what others cannot. Honey badgers can break into hives hidden deep underground or inside trees. If there is food, it will be reached. Despite their aggression, honey badgers avoid unnecessary confrontations if there is no direct benefit. This is not madness. This is calculation. The main trait of the honey badger is not strength, but the combination of endurance, adaptability, and the ability to learn. That is what makes it what it is. Not the biggest, not the fastest, but one of the most difficult opponents in nature. When people talk about the honey badger, it is often turned into a legend. But behind that image, there is reality, and it is no less interesting. A honey badger does not attack without a reason. Most conflicts start because of food or defense. It doesn't look for a fight just for the sake of it. It solves a problem. In the wild, a honey badger more often avoids large predators if there is no need to engage. Survival matters more than showing strength. Honey badgers spend most of their time searching for food, not fighting. Reality is not a battle. It is a constant search for resources. They can change their behavior depending on the region and pressure from humans. Flexibility is the key. In some places, honey badgers become more nocturnal to avoid humans. It doesn't disappear. It adapts. Despite its reputation, the honey badger is not a dominant predator in its ecosystem. It is not at the top of the chain. It exists outside the usual hierarchy. Honey badgers can compete with other predators for food, but rarely hold territory by force. Control is temporary. The honey badger has very high energy demands, so it must constantly search for food. Stopping means risk. Many extreme behaviors of the honey badger are rare and depend on specific conditions. This is not a constant state. It is a response. The reputation of the honey badger as the most fearless is a mix of real observations and human perception. It is not a myth, but it is not a caricature either. It is an animal that simply uses everything it has as efficiently as possible, and that is exactly why it looks like something beyond the ordinary. Even when it seems like everything is clear, the honey badger remains unpredictable, not because of chaos, because of flexibility. Honey badgers can quickly change their route if they find a more rewarding food source. No fixed path, only the goal. They are able to explore new objects in their environment without obvious fear. Reckless from another point of view, normal behavior for it. Honey badgers can remember dangerous places and avoid them in the future. Mistakes are taken into account. When food is scarce, the honey badger expands its search area. Boundaries are not fixed. It can use abandoned burrows of other animals instead of digging new ones. Minimum effort, maximum result. Honey badgers sometimes follow large predators to get what remains of their prey. Not always direct conflict, sometimes waiting. They can break traps and structures if they block access to food. An obstacle is seen as a task. Honey badgers show strong resistance to stress in threatening situations. They do not panic. They act. In different regions, honey badger behavior can vary significantly. There is no single pattern. The honey badger is an example of an animal where individual experience directly shapes behavior. This is not a template. It is a system that changes. And that is exactly why it is hard to predict. It does not follow rules. It rewrites them to fit itself. It may seem like the honey badger has no weaknesses, but that's not true. They exist. The honey badger spends a huge amount of energy searching for food and quickly becomes exhausted without regular debauchery. It is strong, but dependent on resources. A long absence of food can lead to weakness and reduced activity, even it is not an exception. In arid regions, the honey badger's survival strongly depends on access to water and prey. The environment sets limits. Honey badgers are vulnerable to diseases and parasites, just like other wild animals. Physical resilience is not absolute protection. Young individuals often do not survive their first year. Experience decides everything. Large predators can still kill a honey badger in a successful attack. It is not invulnerable. Human traps and poisoning remain one of the main causes of their disappearance. The most dangerous factor is external. Habitat destruction reduces access to food and shelter. Even adaptability has limits. Because of their aggressiveness, honey badgers often enter conflicts that could have been avoided. Sometimes the strategy works against it. The main limitation of the honey badger is not physical ability, but the environmental conditions it must survive in. It is highly effective, but not all-powerful. And that is what makes it real. Not a legend, but a creature balancing on the edge of its limits. At the beginning, it looked simple, a small animal, aggressive, fearless. But the picture turned out to be more complex. The honey badger combines physical endurance, intelligence, and adaptive behavior. It's not just one strong trait. It's a system. Its reputation is shaped by both real observations and exaggerations. It is dangerous, but not supernatural. The honey badger survives not through strength, but through constant decision-making. Every action is a choice. It uses every opportunity, from strength to cunning, from patience to aggression. There is no fixed strategy. The honey badger is an example of an animal where character matters as much as biology. Behavior is the key. It does not dominate the ecosystem but consistently holds its place, without control, but with results. Its survival is a constant balance between risk and reward. Every step is on the edge. The honey badger does not avoid danger, but does not seek it without reason. This is not chaos. This is pragmatism. The main trait of the honey badger is the ability to adapt faster than conditions change. It is not stronger than the environment. It is more flexible. The honey badger is not the most fearless animal. It is an animal that simply does not operate by the usual rules. And that is the whole point. The story is finished. What remains is understanding. Sometimes it's not the strongest that survives, but the one that never stops.